So today we're doing something a little differently. Today I'm making a superhero costume tier list. We have some of the most iconic superhero tier lists, like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man suits, like all of the Batman suits, like Ben Affleck's, like Robert Pattinson, and like Michael Keaton's Batman. Now obviously my opinion is not going to be like yours, so leave down in the comments down below some of your most iconic and favorites superhero costumes, because after all, this is just my opinion, and my opinion might be different from yours. But let's start off with one of the most iconic and probably one of the best superhero suits of all time. Iron Man's Mark 1, or is this Mark 2? I think it's the Mark 2 suits. In my opinion, the best Iron Man suit ever. It is the best Iron Man suit. Obviously, I have the Infinity War here, but I think the original OG Iron Man suit is the best one here. Next up is Amazing Spider-Man's 1 suit. I know everyone loves the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit, but we're starting off with the Amazing Spider-Man 1 suit. Obviously, I'm gonna put this at D tier. I'm not a big fan of it. I think it just looks lame. I prefer every other Spider-Man suit before this. It's just not personally one of my favorites. Most of you guys might not remember this suit because I don't know if the two fans who watch Iron Fist actually remember the suit, because no one watched Iron Fist. I barely got through season 1, but he did put on the Iron Fist S suit, but as you can see, it's pretty bad. This is a pretty bad Iron Fist suit. I'm putting this F tier. What did they do to my boy? Why does he look like that? They got the Immortal Iron Fist suit on and it looks horrible. It looks like something you'd get like at Party City. They could have done so much better, especially since the Netflix shows gave us so many cool costumes. Like I think Daredevil's, both of his costumes were done perfectly. And this, they didn't do anything good here. We all know that they did not cook here. They should stay out of the kitchen from now on. Next up, we got Iron Man Infinity War suit. Now, personally, I don't like this suit. This is a D tier suit. I think Iron Man is better when it's just simple, and I guess Iron Man's kind of the only one who can get away with a high-tech suit, but I'm just not a big fan of it. I prefer the Mark II suit way more over all of the suit. I don't like nanotech. I hate nanotech, just get rid of it. Iron Man was obviously the originator of nanotech, but I never liked it in the first place, and I still don't like it now. Next up, we got the X-Men First Class suits. Now, I've never been a fan of most X-Men suits, so I'd probably put this, it's a beginner suit, so we'll put a D. You know what, let's just rank it, because I know you all want to know my opinion on Sam Raimi's Spider-Man suit, the best Spider-Man suit, and probably one of the best costumes in all of superhero history. I just had to knock that one off of the board real quick, just so we can get established that this is one of the best Spider-Man suits of all time, because for one, I know people like, it being more comic accurate, but Sam Raimi's suit, it's not comic accurate. It takes some inspiration from the comics. It's completely new with its webbed lining, and I think the Sam Raimi suit is the perfect idea of, evolving the suit and making it better. And every time I play the Spider-Man games, this is the suit I always wear. Just perfection, chef's kiss. They definitely cooked with this one. Now, back in regular order, let's go with George Clooney's Batman. Now, unlike a lot of people, I grew up watching Batman vs. Robin, and I kind of have a bit of a nostalgia for the suit more than any of the other ones in D tier. So for me, it's C tier. Besides the bat nipples, I kind of like this suit. I think it's kind of campy. So I'm a big fan of it, at least a bigger fan than most people are. So I'll put this in C tier. I know that's controversial, but I kind of like this suit, and I do have some nostalgia glasses on for this suit. Next up, we got is Vision. Now, Vision Age of Ultron, this is pretty much the Vision we see throughout of him. I'm giving it a D tier. Now, I love Vision in the comics and in the animated movies and TV shows, but I prefer him with, like the original comic book look. I think it looks really good, and I don't think this looks too great on him. Maybe people like this, I personally don't. Next up is Wonder Woman. Now, I know a lot of people don't like Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman. I know that she has her issues, but I think this is honestly an S tier suit. Now, obviously, some people are going to be like, whoa, you're putting Wonder Woman's suit in S tier. Yes, I do think it's that good. I think it's perfectly adapting the suits. Obviously, this is more of a new 52 kind of Wonder Woman S suit. I think the skirt is like way better than, what she wore in like the old TV show. So I think this suit, like, I don't think you can get much better than this. Like, the new Wonder Woman suit that they'll probably have for like the TV show, that they're making for James Gunn, is probably going to look very much like this, because this is probably the perfection of a Wonder Woman suit. Next up is Fan 46 suits. Now, these suits, god awful. The Thing isn't wearing any pants, and I don't know, maybe it's just me because I grew up with that old Fantastic Four, but seeing Thing without any pants is so weird to me. Honestly, it's an F tier along the lines of Iron Fist. I don't like seeing the Thing without pants, and everyone else's costume is pretty mid. Next one is Deadpool. Deadpool is obviously an S tier. We all know how great Deadpool suit is. Like, it's literally perfection, and it's assisted with Ryan Reynolds Deadpool, which perfect casting. So obviously an S tier. Next up is Aquaman. Aquaman suit is obviously an S tier. I think like adapting an Aquaman suit is probably one of the hardest things to do, and they did it perfectly. Like, this is perfectly comic accurate. It looks good. It doesn't look too goofy, even though it has the yellow and green, which is just like two colors you never really want to match. But I think this looks amazing. Next up is Ben Affleck's suit. Now, I think I'll put it at A tier. Even though it's one of my favorite Batman suits, I think the problem with it is that we didn't get to see a lot of it. But if you look at S tier, I feel like we got to see a lot of these suits in action. While Ben Affleck's, we got what, like one movie, and he wore it for a half of a Justice League. So I wish we could have seen him more in it. And there's so much more potential in the suits. But I think, you know, moments make suits even more impactful. But I think Ben Affleck's suit, it never really got time to shine. So I'm putting it A tier. Definitely deserving an S tier, but I feel like it just should have had more moments. Next up is Captain America Winter Soldier suit. Now, I would say this is a pretty good done Captain America suit. I feel like going too comic accurate is pretty bad, as we can see with later down the line where I have another Captain America suit that's kind of goofy looking. I think this is a perfect mixture. The Green Lantern suit, we all know how bad this looks. I think it's just the CGI just wasn't made for this time. I'd put this in, I'll put this in D tier. I don't think it's horrible. I don't think it's this bad, but I'll put it in D tier. Next up is the most iconic suit of them all, Superman suit. Obvious S tier. This is an amazing suit. This suit is probably the perfection of Superman suits. Obviously, we don't see a lot of my Superman suits, but when they did it the first time, they perfected it the first time. So it even has the underwear and everything. The S is perfect. The clothes match. The coloring is perfect. I don't think you could have done a better Superman suit for the time, and I feel like if someone put it on now, it would still look amazing. Easy S tier for me. Next up, we have OG Thor suits. I'm not a big fan of it. I like the cape. Besides that, I'd put it in C tier. I don't think it's anything too special. Next up is Captain America Civil War's Black Panther suit. Probably Black Panther's best suit from all the series. I think it's an easy A tier. I think the only thing that holds it back is that in the comics and in the anime series, I like him much more with a cape. I think when Black Panther has a cape, I think that's when he looks the coolest. I think when any superhero has a cape, they look amazing. And I feel like if you put a cape on this Black Panther, I think this suit would have been an easy S tier. But because it doesn't, I'll put it A tier. Next up is Doctor Strange. I'd give this a C tier. It's cool, but I think it's a little too over designed. I prefer a more simple Doctor Strange outfit for like the one with the animated movie. I think that's a perfect costume, and I don't think this is really good. I don't think it should be this over designed. Next up is the TV show's Flash's suit. I'd give this a B or a C. I think I'll go B. I like it. I know people love this costume, but maybe because I haven't really watched all the Flash seasons. I stopped at season 4. I feel like after that, I'm just like, I'm done here. I don't need to watch anymore. So maybe people have much more like moments with the suit, that many moments with the suit, but personally, not a huge fan of it. Next up is Moon Knight, and I think Moon Knight also suffers from the MCU over designing stuff costume problem. So I'd personally put a D. I prefer more simple costume. I think it's good when I first saw it, but after a while, I'm just like, it's a little too over designed for me. Next up is Shazam. Perfectly designed. I think DC just has like a perfectly designed costumes, and I think I'll put this in A tier. I personally, on my level, I think it's S tier, but just like for Batman suit, I don't think we get to see too many moments. He only has one movie in it, so I'll just put it A tier for right now, but I do think this Shazam costume is amazing. Next up is the Daredevil costume. Not a huge fan of it. I am a big Daredevil fan, but I'd personally just put it C tier. I think it's solid. I think it's pretty good for, what they're trying to do, make it more grounded, but I prefer when he has a black mask on. I think that suit looks way cooler, and I think this is fine. I'd love to see, the new Daredevil suit in action, because from what we've seen, it looks a little too bright, but, once it's on screen, we'll probably get a different vibe from it. Next up is Silver Surfer from the original Fantastic Four movies, and I think this is easy S tier. Even though there's a lot of bad stuff in those Fantastic Four movies, I think Silver Surfer perfectly designed. The CGI looked great for him. I think everything looked good for him. Besides the CGI abs, the storytelling abs, I think the Silver Surfer was perfect and he looked amazing. Next up is Star-Lord. Now, this is the original Star-Lord because obviously he went through so many costumes, but the original movie one, Guardians of the Galaxy Star-Lord, easy S tier. I think the suit looks amazing. Obviously, since that movie came out, all the comics look like this Star-Lord. All the video games make sure to look like this Star-Lord. This Star-Lord defined the character in Star-Lord, and this is how Star-Lord should look from now on. An amazing suit. I wish he wore this in more of the movies instead of, just the first one, but an amazing suit. Next up is the Black Panther suit from his own movie. I think this is B tier. I think it's solid, but I like the Civil War suit much better. Next up is Thor Ragnarok suit. I think I like it more than the original Thor suit. I put a B tier. I think it's solid. Looks pretty cool. The helmet looks amazing. I think with shorter hair, he also looks amazing. I think it's a really good suit, but I don't think it's any higher than B tier. Now let's do the Hulks back to back, since I have a lot of opinions on these two Hulk designs. Obviously, we got Hulk from Infinity War where he has the, I don't know, the jumpsuit on. I think the suit looks awful. F tier. Obviously, I don't want to really rank, the first Avengers one, because it's more of just being like Edward Norton's Hulk, but with Mark Ruffalo's face on it. So let's talk about Edward Norton's Hulk. I think this Hulk design amazing. This is my Hulk. They cooked with this design. I'm giving this A tier. I honestly think this design looks amazing. A lot of times Hulk can look sometimes goofy, like in the Infinity War, like in Ang Lee's Hulk, but I think this Hulk design amazing. I personally believe that if Edward Norton was the Hulk throughout the whole entire series, I feel like we would have had a better Hulk in general. So this Hulk, easy A tier for me. Next up is the Flash suit from the Justice League and Zack Snyder's Justice League. Now, even though this suit has some pretty cool moments, I think it's probably D or F for me. The reason why, I think when you're designing a speedster, I don't think they should be having battle armor on, personally. Maybe that's just different for me. And I know the reason they gave it to him was because it's supposed to look like rocket technology, where clothing has to withstand going that fast. So they made him have like this kind of like armor look. It's hard to explain how this design is supposed to look. I know it's like supposed to be based off a rocket, where if you go super fast, the armor and the padding should be able to withstand that pressure. But I think this is comic book movies. I think we can put them in some spandex, put them in some cloth suits, instead of giving them this battle armor type of outfit, because I don't think when you're designing a speedster, I don't think you should be giving them battle armor, in my opinion. But I know some people might disagree, so leave your opinions on what you guys think of this Flash suit. Personally, I'm not a big fan of it. Next up is the Cyborg suit. This Cyborg suit is god awful. Like, what did they do to my boy Cyborg? I just don't like how the metal looks. The metal looks weird. I think like his face and up, amazing. I think they did really well with it, but everything like neck down, I do not like. I think it's a little too much. But that you can say that for a lot of Zack Snyder's Justice League. I think a lot of those characters are very over designed, except for Wonder Woman and Batman, and Superman looks fine too. But I think a lot of the Justice League members look way too over designed. Next up is the Captain America from the first Avengers. I think this is awful. I'll put a D tier. I think it's they try to go for a more comic look, but they just kind of failed with it. So I'd put a D tier, but I don't think they're just as annoying and as like off-putting as the F tier ones. Next up is Quicksilver's suits. It's not even a suit. I'd give it F tier. Obviously we saw the X-Men. It's a better suit, even if it's not really much of a Quicksilver suit. I just don't think this is it. He looks like some guy who would go to the gym and get some cardio in. This is not a superhero suit. Like, if this was a guy walking down the street, you would not guess this is Quicksilver. And let's talk about one of the most iconic Spider-Man suit, the black suit Sam Raimi Spider-Man. The only black suit we've gotten in live action. Easy S tier. We'll put it right next to Sam Raimi's suits. Obviously, an amazing suit. It's amazing. Like, everyone loves a black suit. Like, it's this iconic. Easy S tier. And I know I'm saying this late into the video, but none of these are ordered. I'm not saying Captain America's suit is better than any of these suits, or the one Iron Man suit is better than any of these suits. I'm not ordering this because this video is already long enough and I don't want it to be longer. Next up is Ben Affleck's suit in Batman vs Superman, the armored suit. I think the suit, easy S tier. Even though we don't see this that much, I think this is perfect battle armor suit for Batman. I think they did it perfectly. It's way better than his original Ben Affleck suit. Even though I love that suit, I think this is amazing. They adapted it from the comics amazingly. There's nothing to say. Next up is the Winter Soldier suits. I think this suit is amazing as well. I'd put it A tier. I think after this design, it just fell off for Winter Soldier. Like, look at this design. Like, he has the mask, he has the long hair, he has everything to look cool. And then, they cut off his hair and then they took off the mask and he just wasn't the same ever since. Next is Deadpool from Wolverine Origins. Obviously an F tier. It's just horrible. Just taking away his mouth is worthy enough for an F tier. The next one from the Flash movie, I don't hate it as much as other people do, but I'd still put a D tier. Not a big fan. The Adam West suits, I think it's iconic. It's campy, but it's iconic. I put it A tier. Everyone loves the suit. Like, if I see this suit, I'm just like having a good old smile. It reminds me of, being in like the good old days, and you know, just going to my grandpa's house and watching some old reruns of the old Batman TV show. Just an amazing Batman suit and an iconic and nostalgia on. Next up is the Wolverine suit that we will be getting in Deadpool and Wolverine. Obviously this might be spoilers for some of you, but it's not really. They told it in the trailer, so if you haven't seen that, I guess it's kind of spoilers for you. But I think the suit looks already amazing. I'll put it B tier for right now. I don't want to put an A tier or S tier because, you know, I don't see him with the mask on, and I don't know if he's even could wear the mask, but if he puts on the mask, it's gonna look amazing, depending on how the mask looks. But from right here, I'll put a B tier. Once the movie comes out, I'll probably put it A tier because I'm only putting it B tier because, you know, we haven't actually seen it in the movie. Maybe it looks a little different, and maybe he's only wearing this for one scene. We do not know. Next up is Miles Morales Spider-Man suit. I'd put this A tier. It's solid. I was debating between B or A tier. I think A tier is pretty good. I like Miles Morales suits, but I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of it like some other people are. Next up is Catwoman suit from her own movie. Awful. Bad. Looks like she just came out of Hot Topic and put on a suit and just, you know, put on a dominatrix outfit. Not a costume suit, and by any means. Next up is Batman 89 suit. I think this is an easy S tier. The most iconic Batman suit, the yellow chest symbol, everything's iconic about it. Everyone knows the suit, and everyone loves this suit. Next up is Robert Pattinson's Batman. I think it's an A tier. I love this suit. I think this suit is amazing. I don't think it's over designed. I think it's perfectly designed. I love the chest symbol that is made out of the gun that killed Batman's parents. Everything's just amazing. I don't think I mind the headpiece as much as other people do. Some people say that it looks like the hammerhead shark. I think it looks fine. Next up is Scarlet Witch's suit. I'd put this D tier. I prefer a more like simple suit. I think this also suffers from the over design problem MCU has. Next up is Batman Beyond suit. Easy S tier. An amazing suit. You can't go wrong with the suit. This suit is just amazing. For an evolved suit of, you know, Batman suit, to live up to being a better Batman suit and to live up to the legacy of having a new Batman suit, I think this does it perfectly. And the future tech, how he flies, everything's amazing. Even in the Batman Arkham games, some of the best Batman suits are the Batman Beyond suits. So that just shows you Batman Beyond suit, iconic. Next up is Blade suit. Easy S tier. I don't think we need to argue. Blade just looks amazing in this. The trench coat, the armor plated chest plates, the sword, everything about this looks amazing. Wesley Snipes looks amazing as Blade. Easy S tier. Probably a top 5 comic book suit of all time. Next up is the X-Men original suits. I think this is F tier. I don't think this is good at all. The leather suits, not a huge fan of it. Now the final two, which are pretty much iconic, probably at the same level of iconic, the Amazing Spider-Man suit from the Amazing Spider-Man 2. I'd give this an A tier. Obviously really good. I don't think it's S tier level because the Raimi Spider-Man suit just evolved the original suit, while this is just more comic accurate suits. I know people love this suits, but I think the Raimi Spider-Man suit is just a tier above. Obviously I know there's gonna be disagreements, but let me know if you like the suit more than the Raimi suit. Personally, I think the Raimi suit's better, but that's just my opinion. And the final one, the Man of Steel suit, he pretty much wears it in Black Adam. That's why I have the picture like that. So I'm not a huge fan of it. I put it B tier. I think it's good, but I think, you know, the original Superman suit looks way better. But let me know down in the comments what you guys think of this tier list. Let me know your differences. Let me know what you guys agree with. I'd love to know your guys' opinions down below in the comments. I'll respond to all of them as much as possible because I know some people have very differing opinions, and I will make sure to respond to all of you guys and see what you guys have to say. Hope you guys enjoy this video. Hope to see you guys next time. Later. Peace.